Hello and welcome to episode 75 of Daryl Show Your Work. In this episode, I will be demonstrating how to exploit a legacy version of a protocol, specifically the SMTP protocol. So this is going to stress the importance of why it's important to make sure that all protocols running on our ports are up to date because there are version specific exploits that attackers can use to gain a foothold into your system or enterprise. All right, so just to give a high level overview of what SMTP is. So that is short for a simple mail transfer protocol, and it's just basically the standard internet protocol for sending email messages between servers. And it usually runs on port 25, but it also can be ran on port on default ports of 465 or 587 as well. All right, so to get started, of course, I'm going to want to see what my IP address is. So I'm going to do an ifconfig to see where I'm located. All right, so I am located at 192.168.223.2. All right, so I'm going to copy that. All right, now I want to see who else is up and running on my local network here. So I'm gonna do a ping sweep. So I'm say f. Sorry about that. I'm gonna say fping dash a dash g, and then let's paste my IP address here. Except I'm going to use the CIDR 0 and then /24. So this is going to basically ping all the machines that are on my local network and see who's up and running, and that'll help me determine which machine to target here. All right, so we see a gateway up, we see myself up at .2, and so .3 is the winner. All right, so I am going to start up um, the Metasploit framework. And first, I'm going to start up the PostgreSQL database since we need that in order to run the Metasploit framework. All right. Tell that to start. Then I'm going to combine it with the command to actually start the Metasploit framework. So that's what the ampersand is for. All right. So let's get those going. All right. All right. I'm going to make a workspace for myself. All right, so we're going to say workspace dash A, and we're going to call this SMTP underscore enum for enumeration. All right, so just checking that I'm still in there. All right, so the first thing that I want to search for is I'm going to use the Metasploit port scanning module. So I'm going to say use, and this is our auxiliary scanner. SMTP protocol. Well, you know what? No, because we're not. No, I'm gonna do the port scan because I want to see if that port is even open on our target. All right, now I'm going to set the IP address of our target as a global parameter, so that way I don't have to keep putting this in as I switch and use different modules to um, to do my enumeration and hopefully to do an exploit. So I'm going to set gr host, and then let's paste in, and our target is at .3. All right, so that's set. So I'm gonna go to show options just to make sure everything is set. All right, looks like we're good to go. So I'm gonna do run, and let's see. All right, so immediately we see that port 25 is open, which is a default port for SMTP. All right, so let's give it a few seconds here to keep doing this thing. And that apparently appears to be the only port that's open. All right, so now we want to do some actual enumeration on the SMTP protocol that's running on this machine, since we know that now that that port is open. All right, so let's see, I am going to search. So let's do a search type. We're going to do an auxiliary since we're still doing um, enumeration. We want these to be auxiliaries for the SMTP protocol. Okay. All right. So we have quite a few options here. So first, I think I want to know what version of SMTP is running. All right. So if we look here, that appears to be tool number 2. All right. So I'm going to run that. So I'm going to say use 2. All right. Let's go to show options. All right, so everything seems to be already set up. I already set up our remote host as a global parameter, so that's set by default. And because this is a SMTP, a specific tool, our port is already set to 25 for us. So I'm going to go to run, and let's see if we can get a version here. All right, so we have Haraka 2.8.8 version running on it. All right, so we need to keep that in mind. Because remember, the purpose of this video is that we want to be able to do a version specific attack, all right, against this SMTP protocol running on this target machine. So let me try to do some more enumeration here. Let's see. Let's go back to my command here. So I'm going to use right here. I'm going to use tool 6 just to see if we can get some more information on this protocol running on this machine. Show options just to make sure there's nothing else I need to set up. Okay, everything else looks like it's set up here. All right, so I'm gonna say run. All right, so pretty much gave me the banner and gave me the information I already found from enumerating the service version. All right, so now I want to run an exploit that's specific to this haraka, this haraka. I think I'm saying that wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my initial search here, and I'm gonna do some modification. So I'm still auxiliary. I'm gonna say exploit, since now I'm not doing a simple enumeration or recon. Now I want to actually perform an attack. All right, so now I'm gonna leave SMTP in there. All right, so we have quite a few options here. So let's start from the top. All right, and right here at the top, all right, we have some Haraka based attacks and version specific. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Um, well, yeah, version specific to the operating system. So we have a 64-bit version of this, and we have a 32-bit version of it. All right, so I'm just going to do, let's see, I'm going to say use 1. All right, so we'll go to show options. So it's quite a bit that I need to set here. All right, it's not going to appear all on one screen because of the font that I'm using, just so everyone watching can see. So we can see here that actually our host is not set as a global parameter, it's probably because this is for some reason in this module, it's all in lowercase, and it appears that in Linux that case matters. All right, so I'm just going to have to just set it in here manually with everything else here that I need to set up. All right, so the first thing that I want to set up here is I want to be able to tell it what port I want our victim to connect to. So, well, first of all, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. First, I want to be able to choose what attack that we're going to be using against our victim here. So I'm gonna say set payload. We're going to set that to Linux, and we want this to be 64-bit session based interpreter, which is basically once we establish a successful connection using the MSF console, then a interpreter session is basically us connecting to the machine, even though we have to actually launch the shell in order to get into the machine and run certain commands, but a interpreter session has established that connection to where we can run certain commands specific to interpreter to further enumerate the machine in ways that we wouldn't be able to just from the outside with MSF a console. And within a interpreter session, we could also launch a shell, which would then allow us to actually go directly into the machine itself. All right, so I'm gonna say interpreter underscore reverse HTTP, and this is just a variation of a reverse shell, which I can use to directly go on get inside of that system. Okay, so value specified it's not valid. Oh, okay. Uh, go fix this right here. All right. So now that that's said, and I've explained what it is that we're going to do, we're going to do this. The attack vector that I'm going to use is actually an email. All right. So because this is, simple mail transfer protocol, it relies on email. So I'm going to we're going to send this email. I'm going to set email underscore two. We're going to send this to an address called root at attack defense dot test. All right, and the idea is once once the target or the person on the target device they click on this link that's inside this email that I'm going to send, then it's going to start a reverse shell session. All right, so a lot of this is automated. Um so yeah, don't worry that we're going to be sitting here and actually trying to wait for like a real person to click here. This is just a demonstration. All right, so um the next thing that I need to set is I want to set the actual port that I want the connection to be established on my machine. So I'm gonna say SRV port, and I want it to connect to 9898. All right, and then now I need to tell it all over again, just in lowercase, um, what our who our target is. All right, so it's 3. All right, and then I need to set the listening host because which is going to be me. All right, So we're going to leave that the way it is. All right, and I think we should be good to go. Those are all the parameters that I need to set in order to launch the system. Let's tell it to exploit. Let's see what happens. All right, we have a interpreter session open. All right, let's just wait for that interpreter command line to come back. And that looks like our victim is actually an iPad. All right, so no worries. For some reason, it didn't jump into that session, but this is how we can view if the session exists. So I'm gonna say sessions. All right, see, we have a session. We have a session there, and it's telling us all the details between us and our target machine. So in order to jump into that interpreter session, I'm gonna say sessions dash I, and then I'm gonna put in the session ID, which is 1. All right, now you can see it's a msfconsole. Now I'm gonna have a interpreter session. All right, so let's say I wanted to do some further enumeration here and see more information about uh, the system. I could just type sysinfo. All right. So now it's giving me their operating system, the version of their operating system, that they're running the 64-bit session, and that the type of session or interpreter that I'm running. And then if I wanted to see what user ID is, get UID. Now I'm gonna say shell. See, I think I'm in. Yep, I think I'm in there. So let's see, who am I? Root. Yeah, so I'm actually no. So when I do shell now, I'm actually in the machine here. All right. So let me see. Let's see. PWD. All right, see, it tells me what my current directory that I'm in. All right, so what I've actually been able to do here, first I established the interpreter session, which is just an initial connection between myself and my machine and their machine, and I'm doing further enumeration. But once I type in shell, then that actually executes the reverse shell, and now that's when I'm actually in their machine, and now I can actually run commands on their machine. In this instance, I just simply ran a whoami command just to tell me that I'm the root account, and then I also did a pwd command just to tell me, hey, where am I in the local directory. All right, but from here, if I wanted to do some more malicious things like, find sensitive files and then do a git command to download those sensitive files to myself, I could. All right. So just to give a high level overview of what was accomplished in this video. So basically, I started out again. I found my target by doing a ping sweep and within the Metasploit framework. I took a few steps to conduct some enumeration by scanning to see it first at the port that port 25 was open on our target for the SMTP, since that is one of the default ports. It was. And so from there, I did a version service version scan on it using the Metasploit framework, which told me what version of SMTP it was using, which was haraka. So I specifically looked up for exploits relevant to SMTP and found one specifically targeting the haraka version of SMTP. And then I set the parameters on that as far as the listening port, remote host, different things I needed to configure before running that exploit. But once I got that exploit up and configured, I was able to successfully um, establish a interpreter connection, a session with the target machine, do some further enumeration of its system, be able to see what their user ID was, which to confirm that it was indeed the root account. And from there, I launched the reverse shell, which gave me which basically gave me access to their system. Ran some Linux commands there since I know that they're running a Linux distribution, and was able to successfully show that I'm in their machine and I can run commands within their machine. All right, so this is why it's important, to do user training for them not to, for excuse me, for your customers or your users to not click on certain links, because it could be someone on the other end trying to set up a interpreter session. We saw that it appeared that that the victim was using an iPad and using probably, it looks like more than likely Mozilla Firefox to then uh, access a fake website, which then basically just had them to connect to my listing port, and which enabled me to be able to set up a interpreter session. So please like, subscribe, and share. Most importantly, show your work. And until next time, take care of yourself and God bless.